This month I was supposed to decide on a video and failed, but I did play a lot of Assassin's Creed, so let's talk about that instead. So I'm going to mostly talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've actually been playing it a lot, and I have a lot of opinions about it, but I figure first I'll talk about the Switch 2 reveal. Just don't think I'm going to get one. I'll get it eventually, but not anytime soon. Like, I could afford it, but I just don't really want it. It's too expensive. The games are too expensive. I don't care about Mario Kart. The only game on release I'm even close to interested in is Donkey Kong, and I'm not going to buy it just for that. The first game that's actually coming out for the console that I want is Hyrule Warriors, and we don't even know when that is yet. It's just winter. And then the only other thing I'm even planning on buying for a Nintendo console this year is Metroid, and even then I'm not even that bothered. I'm not super into Metroid. Like, I didn't like Dread at all, but I do like the Prime series. I like 1, but I didn't finish it, and I like 3, but I didn't finish it, and I didn't even play 2. When I was younger, I didn't go through games properly. There was very rarely a time when I actually finished a game, so despite playing a lot of them, I never actually finished them. The only game I'm even vaguely interested in getting a Nintendo console for the rest of the year was Metroid. I mean, there's probably other stuff that would be interesting, but nothing I was, planning on. And then, announced the Switch 2, and the only thing in it that I actually want to buy is Hyrule Warriors. There's probably some other stuff that I'm just not remembering at the time, but I can wait. I've considered getting the Switch 2 if I can get the bundle that comes with Mario Kart, just because that doesn't feel too outrageously expensive, but I also feel like if I don't get that, I'm probably just never going to buy Mario Kart, because it's a ridiculously expensive game for no reason. When the bundle is 30 quid cheaper than buying them separately, that's too much. Usually it's a bit cheaper, but it's basically the price of 2 indie games. The other thing that bothers me is the bundle version is obviously going to be digital, and I'd rather get it physically, but I don't want to pay an extra 30 quid for it physically. And I'm also annoyed that all the games are going to be more expensive physically. I don't think they should have raised the prices. I'll get into it like this. I understand the idea that digital and physical games should cost different amounts. That makes sense. I understand that physical games should cost more. That makes sense. I don't think physical games should cost more. I think digital games should cost less. So what I'm saying is that games used to be 50, 60 quid, and it should be like that. If a game is 60 quid, then digital should be 50. But what they've done here is raise the price of both digital and physical at the same time, which actually just makes it feel like you've just raised the price of everything more. Do you get what I mean? If they'd have kept digital prices at 60 and raised the price of physical games to 70, I'd be annoyed. But they've raised the price of both. So they've raised the prices and changed the prices at the same time, and I feel like they could have gotten away with doing one or the other, but not both. I think there's just so much to be negative about towards it, and the negatives of this console at the moment don't outweigh the positives. And the stuff about not using Hall effect sticks, why? This problem is solved. The technology exists, just use it, but they refuse to because they're Nintendo, basically, and the fact that you've got to pay for the fucking tech demo, I don't know. The older I've gotten, the more and more I've started to dislike Nintendo. And it's not even Nintendo, a lot of the time it's actually Miyamoto. The more I've learned about his opinions on stuff, the angrier I get. When I was young, I was like, oh, this guy's made all of my favourite stuff, I love it. And then the older I've gotten, every time I've learned something about him, I'm like, wow, I fucking hate this. The reason we don't have storylines in the Paper Mario games properly anymore is because he didn't like them. Or the reason there's no proper story in Super Mario Galaxy 2 is because he didn't like that there was one in 1. It's just baffling to me. And the reasons we can't get a new Star Fox game is because he doesn't think it's worth it unless we completely reinvent it every time. It's just no, just iterate on a good concept. Make a new good game. I would be happy with that. Experimentation is fine. New features are fine. But sometimes just iteration is also fine. You will just get better by remaking things. But what we get is either a completely wildly new thing like Zero, which is just physically painful to play, or nothing. So I'll maybe get one eventually, but watch me get one on release now. So I've actually been playing quite a lot this month. I'm still going through Monster Hunter Wilds. My opinion on it hasn't changed much. I feel like I'm a little bit more favourable to it now, just because I've gotten to a point where I feel stronger in the game. So the game's already pretty easy, but now it's even easier, so I'm the stuff that was frustrating me before about it, a lot of the stuff that was frustrating me before about it was all the story, and that's all gone now, because I've finished that. And then the hunts barely take me any time, maybe 5 minutes each, maybe 10. So I'm just getting a few quick ones done each day. I'm grinding for a few sets before I do the next thing, but I don't know. I'm still not big on it, but it's bothering me less. I did a sponsored video for Trolls vs Vikings. I actually ended up finishing that. it's alright. I just really like Plants vs. Zombies, basically, and I played it because it's basically Plants vs. Zombies. Not amazing, but it was fine. Do I have to do my disclosure here because I mentioned it? I said that I was sponsored to do it. Megapop gave me the key. There you go. I don't really want to mark the entire fucking podcast as sponsored now, but maybe I have to. I don't know. Like, stuff like that really bothers me. The video is not about that. Like, the podcast is not about that. But I did just talk about a sponsored thing, so do I have to mention it? Maybe. Like, when I'm doing my impressions or sentences or videos on it, obviously. But this is just something I've mentioned incidentally. I don't know. I'll think about it. I mean, you'll see. I played another game I'm not going to talk about, just because I'm going to talk about that in depth at a different time. So you'll have to wait for that. Oh, and then there's 14, obviously. But then the main thing I've been playing actually is Assassin's Creed Shadows still. I actually really like it now. I like it a lot more than I expected to. I'm going to talk about some of my thoughts on it, and I'm going to start with the stuff I hate the most, and I'm going to end up with what I like the best, because I think that'd be a good way to talk about it. The first thing I really don't like is I don't like the Kofun. I just find them really annoying to get around. That's it. There's not much else to my opinion on that. I find them kind of annoying. You're supposed to like light up the areas where you've been. Sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not, and I just find them irritating. Like, I don't look forward to doing those. I do them and they're okay. I did one yesterday and it turns out I've got to go back there later on in the story or something, so that's annoying. One of my actual biggest complaints is I don't like the kata or the kujikiri, because, at least to my understanding, they're both like forms of meditation. The kujikiri is using the hand actions to sort of like center yourself, and then the kata is about repetitive motions of like simulating combat, and they're both like forms of meditation. So they're supposed to like keep you relaxed. Not necessarily relaxed. You get what I mean. It's a form of meditation. But they're represented in the game by like quick time events that are really, really frustrating. And it's just, the gameplay you are doing runs counter to the ideology of the actions you're portraying, and I hate doing it. I end up getting really frustrated a lot of the time. It's been happening more and more recently where I feel like I'm pressing the buttons right and it just isn't triggering. And it's been happening too frequently for me to feel like it's my fault. So I don't know if it's like the game's not reading my inputs properly, or maybe there's something up with my controller or something. But every now and again it'll just stop reading one of the buttons. It's not always the same button, but it'll be the same button not being read multiple times. Left on the D-pad doesn't get read a lot, and then every now and again it'll be L1. But you know, it's always like I'll do one of the kata, and then one of the buttons won't work until I've like reset the thing a few times, and then it'll start working, it'll be fine. And then like sometimes you'll be doing one of the kujikiri and the buttons will, the way it works is like there's 4 buttons and you press them just 1, 2, 3, 4 usually. Every now and again it'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2 at the same time. And every time it surprises me the first time. But then last night I did one and it was 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. And it was just like, what? It barely worked. I also can't quite tell with the kujikiri if they get faster over time. I feel like they do, but it's not a big enough change for me to be sure about, but I feel like they get faster as you're going through it. And I just find it really irritating. You've got 4 button presses. You're supposed to cycle through them as you go. It's timed. If you get one wrong, it kind of throws the entire cycle off. And then also, if you get one wrong, you have to redo the entire thing. And then also, as you're going through it, the buttons are slowly disappearing, so you can't see them anymore. And it's just irritating. I find them really stressful, which is the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. One thing we're a bit more mixed on is Yasuke. I think as a character, he's interesting. The relationship between him and Naoe is really good, and they're like clearly friends. Obviously, it starts off not that way, but they end up becoming friends, and they actually have like a really nice relationship. Like, they're quite playful. The banter is amusing. They clearly seem like friends. Like, their interactions are some of my favourite parts of the game. There's one in, I think it's in Omi, where after you finish Omi, you just go and look at clouds together. It's just like a nice thing. It's not like this massive thing. It's just, you just go and relax and look at the clouds for a little bit before you go and carry on with your business. It's just nice. What I don't like, though, is the fact that there's dual protagonists. I pretty much exclusively play as Naoe. I just prefer going around and assassinating people. I prefer sneaking around and doing that. It's fine. The combat with her is serviceable when it needs to be, and she can sneak around and do everything else. Yasuke can only really fight. He's really good at it, but that's like all he can do. So because he can't do the free running, he can't do the parkour, he can't like jump off stuff. One of Naoe's upgrades literally just lets her never take fall damage. So why would you ever not use her? I do like him, and there are segments where you do have to play as him, and I've not had a problem with any of them. My actual problem is more that when given the choice, I will always choose Naoe. But there are sections of the game where, for like the big assassinations, some of them you will go in and you will play both characters, like alternating tasks. You'll go in as Naue and like sabotage all the alarms, and then he'll run in and just kill everyone, and like stuff like that. And that's good. I like that. But then there's more sections where that doesn't happen, where it's just, you have to do this assassination, choose one of the characters, and then you just play the entire assassination as that character, and that's it. I understand that I could choose to do it differently, but for one thing, you've literally shown me that you can do alternating stuff. I feel like they should all have been like that. It makes sense for them to have both been doing stuff, and it just feels weird not doing that. But at the same time, it just makes him feel like a bit of a waste. I don't feel like they're doing enough with him. I've spent a lot of time as Naue, and like barely any with Yasuke, and I've done all of Yasuke's individual quests and stuff, but I just feel like there's not enough to Yasuke for me to want to play as him over Naue. So like, when given the choice, I don't want to, but also the game isn't making me do it that much. Like, the game should be in the big assassinations, because they're probably the best place to do it. It should be making me switch between characters and making them both do different tasks and stuff, and it would make sense. But they just don't, and it just feels like a shame, because I feel like it would be a lot more fun. I feel like you would connect to the characters more if you were, like, actively playing as both of them. I feel like either the game should force you to play as both, or you should, like, choose one of them and do the entire thing as them, and then choose one of them and do the entire thing as them again. And then it would be just, like, you doing all of your tasks and them doing all of their tasks, and it'd basically be two games. One thing I do like, though, is a lot of the cutscenes that involve both of the characters, at the end of it, they'll have like a little bit where they'll like leave whatever's happening and then just have a conversation between the two of them, and then it'll end with you choosing which character to carry on playing as, and I just like that. I just think that's handled really well. They're always quite nice compositions, shot-wise, quite often. I just think they're really good. I just thought it was like a really neat way of doing it, and they've done it consistently, and I just think it's been good every time. I don't like this, but I like the game better afterwards. In the accessibility options, there is a button that basically just makes the game good. There is a button where when you toggle it, it means that if you can successfully assassinate someone, as in, you know, like, if you can press the assassinate button and they're not going to, like, see you or something. Like, basically, if an assassination is possible, you just kill them. It removes the whole level requirement for assassination thing, and the game is so much better with that. It just makes the game better. It's kind of wild to me that the game doesn't just ship like that. Like, you have to go into a menu and turn it on yourself. You can kind of do it if you spend all of your upgrade points upgrading your assassinations, because there is eventually the highest level of assassination upgrades does just let you kill anyone. But I just don't see the point. Like, there is a button that does it, and it just makes the game better. Like, the way I've been playing the game is I've turned the combat difficulty as low as possible, because I just don't care about the combat whatsoever. And I've turned it so that I can assassinate anyone as long as I can assassinate them, basically. And that's it. Like, the game's just so much more fun like that. I can understand the level requirement stuff in combat, because, like, the person's more skilled at fighting than you are, or the person has better armor than you. Like, there are things that make sense to me about that. But if you sneak up behind someone and stab them in the throat, they're gonna die. It doesn't matter if they're a better fighter than you. If you get stabbed in the throat, you're probably gonna die. So what is the point of having a level requirement for assassinations? It's stupid. But at the same time, it does kind of go into my point of, like, because of that, I'm only playing Naue, because she's the one who can sneak around, and she's the one who can, like, assassinate everyone, so it just makes more sense. I don't necessarily feel like the game should only have had one protagonist, but I feel like there are definitely bits of it where they could handle the dual protagonists better. But it's fun, and it's the most fun I've had with any of the new style ones. Like, I'm definitely enjoying this more than I enjoyed Origins, or Odyssey, or Valhalla. I'm enjoying it more than Mirage, I think, as well. Like, Mirage was pretty good. I think, honestly, at the moment, my least favourite part of all of these Assassin's Creed games recently has been the Animus stuff itself. It used to be kind of interesting, but now I just don't care. And especially because, like, in this game, a lot of the time with the Animus stuff, it's just, you'll find a problem with the Animus and go and fix it, and then just watch a cutscene for like 5 minutes, and then go back to the world and carry on doing your stuff. It's not very interesting. I kind of get what it's doing, but it's not interesting in the slightest. But no, I think this is my favourite of these new Assassin's Creed games. I still don't think it's better than Ghost of Tsushima or anything. But if you were going to ask me to recommend an Assassin's Creed game that you can buy on the PS5, I would probably say this one. I realise that's a very limited number of things, but actually, I'm going to have to look that up real quick. Okay, yeah. Just wanted to make sure that I didn't think any of the remakes or anything were on the PS5. Yes, okay. So, if that's your question, what Assassin's Creed game should I get on the PS5? This is the one. If it's pretty much any other platform, then there's better options. But for this one, I'll say Assassin's Creed Shadows. So you'll have noticed that I've moved my podcast again, in more ways than one actually. I'm not only releasing it a week early, I'm also recording it in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. If I seem a bit less tired than normal, that'll be why. I mentioned in the intro that I couldn't choose a video, and yeah, it literally took me until this Monday to choose a video to make, and it's just not ready. I had an idea, but the first idea fell through. So I am still going to do it, but it'll just be later on. It can't be this week now. And then I got another idea, but that one requires me to write a script. So that script isn't ready, which means the video wouldn't be ready. Because, like, if I'm going to get a scripted video out, then I need to have at least written, if not recorded, the script by the Monday of the week. And I didn't even start writing it until this Monday. It's now Wednesday and it's still not done. So I'm just saying, like, that wouldn't have been done. And the other video I was planning to make, I was waiting on some stuff for it to come in. That didn't get it till yesterday, so I just wouldn't have had enough time for either of the plans I had. So it only made sense to bring this forward and to push that to next week. For my other stuff, Minishoot is finished now, and I'll be starting a new LP soon, although I'm not actually sure what it's going to be yet, which is a bit of a problem, but I'll have to work it out. I did have an idea what the next LP would be, but then I already did the game for a half hour and I just didn't really enjoy it, which kind of, it's a bit of a problem. So I'm not sure what I'm going to play next. I might still play that game. Maybe I'll just get more interested in it. Like, I don't think it's terrible. I'm just, like, not into it. With the way I do stuff, unless I really like a game, I tend to not play them after I record them, which means I can start my recording on basically any game I've played in the last, 7 years. I've been doing this for, 7 years now. I can pick up basically any game I've played in the last 7 years, and it'll be as if the half hour was the first episode every time. So that's good, but I don't really have a plan what it's going to be yet. But I've only got a week to decide, so I'll have to. I'm a bit over halfway through Yakuza 5 now. I'm just about to start recording the episodes for June, actually. I've been doing a lot of dancing. It's not bad. I kind of like it, but I'm just not all that into rhythm games, so I'm actually finding it kind of tiring, so I'm not getting as much done as I would like to. But actually, I know that that'll be ending soon, so then we'll be back to just normal punching people. My sentences did really well for a few weeks and then went back to normal, and I have no idea why. I always find it really frustrating because just for a bit it'll look like things are going to go well for me and then they just stop. And it's never down to anything I've done. I don't know why it goes better and I don't know why it goes worse. Every video I posted did better than the last one. And then it peaked at around 7,000. And then every video I've posted since has done worse. And nothing's changed. Like, the content is the same. I just find it really annoying because I just wish there was something I could do. But it just seems like I'm completely at the whim of some robot. And it's just annoying. But regardless, everything else is just going to carry on as normal, and I think that's everything. Special thanks to all of my patrons. You can join them over at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, and for $1 a month you'll get to see what I'm working on early and get exclusive roles in my Discord, along with other rewards I might think of. You can also just follow me there if you want to for free, as it's probably the best place to see all of my content as soon as it's available. There's links to the Patreon, along with my Discord, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and all the other podcast platforms in the description for this episode. Finally, don't forget you can email me using podencastby@gmail.com if you've got anything you want to say. Thanks for sticking around. Bye. Special thanks to my patrons, Justin Wood, Hobbs, and Koopy Vegeta. You can join my patrons at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, check out my TikTok and Twitter @Holden Gatsby, and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Holden Gatsby. Don't forget to subscribe to all of my channels. If you want more, you can watch my last video now, but if not, then thanks for sticking around. Bye.